If you're wondering who's that person in the middle holding the iPad drafting for Cloud9, that's the new coach that we talked about. Pepe is the coach that they added to the team back in autumn season towards the end of it, that their performance improved so much once he started helping the team. So very, very a proud coach as well, and one that the team trusts very well.
Yeah, so Catherine actually was what they played against Pain Gaming. They played Vox, Pedal, Catherine, and played it really well. Oh, Koshka is picked up. So typical, they could end this with like a Fortress pick, for example, and that's a very strong, early aggressive comp that Cloud9 excelled at in the previous metas.
Yeah, and again, it's something that everyone knows Cloud9 plays, and everyone knows that they play well. This is not showing anything new, by putting I Love Joseph on a Koshka. That's one of his signature heroes. So definitely just sticking to those comfort picks, not revealing anything, not showing off any of their trump cards.
The only new thing they'll be showing off is the Pet Walker Vox skin,
Oh,
perhaps.
our
It's our first Lorelei.
Yes,
Finally.
Lorelei coming on through. We've seen it banned a lot. We're finally going to see it locked in alongside a Baron and a Blackfeather. There's a lot of damage on that roster right there.
Yeah, that's a lot of damage and a lot of utility to come out through as well. You both Baron and Blackfeather, you can be very aggressive or try and kite away from a fight if things go south with the help of the Lorelei. So Lorelei is going to be very important to try and save those carries.
And if you're wondering what is Lorelei good at, she's a hero that can protect her team so very well, especially if she manages to pick up a Clockwork later on in the game once she has enough gold. Spamming her abilities is her strongest suit, just so that she can keep on giving them speed boosts, she can keep on giving them barriers with the ultimate. At the same time, though, Vox is one of the better picks
there's
into
the Fortress.
Lorelei. And now with Fortress, there's even more Mortal Wounds that can shut down the Lorelei very effectively.
Absolutely. Lorelei going to have her work cut out coming out here against this hyper-aggressive Cloud9 composition. This is the composition that we've seen out of Cloud9 time and time again. I Love Joseph on a very comfortable pick of that Koshka. That's something we've seen him play thousands of times in the past. And the Fortress Vox, we were talking about that as a staple of the Cloud9 roster.
Yeah, it's such an early aggressive comp. The Aftershock on Koshka with the Mortal Wounds and the bleed from Fortress and Vox's Burst, that can delete a carry or a captain instantly. So watch the focus from Cloud9 playing his composition, and they're going to put so much pressure in the early game against the Baron here.
All right, it's that time once again, gentlemen. I'm going to ask you for a prediction coming on into this series. We've got Elite 8 on the A side. We've got Cloud9 on the B side. Who is going to be the ones to take this one?
I'm going to go for Cloud9, because 9's a bigger number than 8.
That is strong logic. I can't argue with that one. Tasty Bacon, how are you feeling?
7, 8, 9. So maybe 9 isn't going to be there, but it's Cloud9. Cloud9 is going to win this game. It's the teams and the way that they've been playing is just very dominant.
Yeah, I have to go with Cloud9 as well. I think they're going to try to prove that they're the most reliable team. That's the point here. They're the most reliable team coming out of North America, with TSM and Tribe already dropping games. And going into quarterfinals with a lot of momentum could mean quite a lot for this team.
All right, well, we have an all-American desk here predicting Cloud9 over Elite 8, but it's time to head over to our casters and get this series underway. It's time to find out if Cloud9 can lock their spot in the quarterfinals and see what Elite 8 have to bring to the table.
Thank you very much, Munchables. Here we go. The two-time Cloud9 champions, well, Unified Live champions, that is, coming up against Elite 8, the Chinese powerhouse.
Elite 8, actually the Indonesian powerhouse, my friend. They are the SEA Spring champions. They had an incredible performance in the spring. They beat out Impunity. Technically, the full roster previous Impunity. They had an amazing series. They were kind of the underdogs of the entire SEA Spring tournament and came out on top. They were so happy with the win. They got that spot at Worlds, and now is their chance to prove that they are worth that position. No mean feat ahead of them, though. Cloud9 have been dominant, and Cloud9 have been dominant for a reason. Tried, tested, and true. These guys are the all-singing, all-American powerhouses.
The battle for the Halcyon Fold has begun.
Ridden Cloud9, ready to jump onto the fold. Here we go, game number 1. Elite 8 over on the blue.
I'm going to give a shout out to the
Cloud9
crowd,
over
by
on
the
the
way.
reds.
There's still plenty of people in the crowd going, and obviously supporting their region as well. Elite 8 from the Southeast Asia region. Got a big test against them, but if they can get to late game, they get their Echo on the Lorelei, they get Baron up to 4 items. You know, C9 have got a specific time window that they need to abuse here. Now, we know C9 can do that well, but can they do it on a world stage?
And we're seeing Lorelei for the first time as well on the main stage. It's quite exciting. The newest hero to grace the fold as well, and that's in the hands of Anime Saves Me. We'll see if Lorelei can save the rest of his team. So much utility in that pick. Fish Food, Water Wall being the key ability. Her ultimate, that cleanses CC, and a massive shield as well can really save Blackfeather if he goes deep.
Yeah, it cleanses any movement impairing effects. Technically, Koshka counts as a movement impairing effect with her Yummy Catnip Frenzy, so you can cleanse that out. Double cleanse, especially, you get an increased barrier when you use it on current patches of water. So if you can get to a stage where you have, like I said, Echo on Lorelei, Baron with four items, you have almost an impenetrable wall, a literal water wall, if you will, that is going to be very difficult for C9 to push through easily.
It's pretty scary, but Cloud9, they've got the ability to dive on that backline. They've got the Koshka. It's Joseph's Koshka as well, mind you, considering.
And it's going up against a matchup that is pretty good for the Koshka in general. Does quite well into CP Blackfeather, and Joseph is known for pushing advantages early on, so we look to see if he can go aggressive. C9 need to be aggressive to win this. This is a composition that they are famed for in North America. You know, Gabe on the Fortress, Joseph on the Koshka, and obviously Old School on his Vox, but they need to continue that level of aggression that we saw from them in North America.
Yeah, Joseph actually prioritizing really early defenses here with shielding and armor. He's going to start up Elder Treant with the help of Gabe Vizzle, so should be able to secure it. And Anime Saves Me is just up into that lane. In fact, all three members of Elite 8 right now up there, making sure Old School doesn't push too far in against the Baron, who can be quite vulnerable early on. He's got level 2 jump jets already.
Kind of the point of Baron. Kind of sucks early, does well late, but it's actually quite difficult to punish Baron sometimes. You really need to be sort of searching for every given opportunity. A lot of the ways to punish Baron is by having super heavy siege or dive compositions, and you just take turrets early. You open up the map, you make it harder for Baron to farm safely. You can only push a certain way through the lane without becoming vulnerable. But you have really good wave clear, like Anime Save Me with that Fish Food. Really, really good at just stomping down waves, setting them up for big explosive basic attacks coming out from the Baron. They actually have a decent way of protecting. Here goes Joseph, looking for that initial engage.
Blackfeather going fairly low. Anime says he's going to be here, but Joseph pushing forward. Hunjagers is going to be able to get over the wall and help them for the time being, but that pressure from Cloud9, something they love to put on early, is already paying off.
Yeah, straight in there, straight looking to put pressure on Official Hein. The back off was there. They forced him to use a flask, and you know, this is what Cloud9 do. They take an advantage. They don't necessarily gain from getting kills, but they push someone out of lane and they take an advantage on the map from it, and they're going to go here again.
Anime Saves Me in a lot of trouble, does send out the Fish Food, but Cloud9 are chasing. Won't be able to quite find the kill just yet. Heim's going to be there. Same with Hunjagers, in fact. Doesn't quite land the slow. Old school. Wrong place, wrong time. Fish Food actually connects. Pops the flask as well. Heim should just be able to finish him off on point. For the execute, finds first blood.
Feels like a bit of miscommunication there between the Cloud9 roster members. Both Joseph and Gabe Vizzle backed off to take the back camps. They were more invested in denying gold from this Blackfeather. And Joseph, so Old School was looking for a flank. Old School was looking to collapse, trying to say, well, we have flask advantage. Maybe we can jump in and put pressure on them from both sides. Pincer-like movement. But unfortunately, Cloud9 weren't all on that boat, and they kind of split their focus.
Split their focus and were punished for it as well. Elite 8 did secure first blood, and that first blood did go over to Heim, so he will be able to accelerate that. Working towards the Shadowgash, you can imagine, or in fact, actually, it's going to be an Aftershock first item, it seems.
Yeah, Aftershock first item is something that we've seen quite frequently on Blackfeather, especially when they're going into sort of burst-heavy matchups. I guess the thought process is here that they're unlikely to be playing a ranged game post-level 8 often versus C9. C9 want to engage on them. C9 have a Fortress, they have a Koshka. C9 have the ability to jump past that. Yeah, they're flying basic attack there. C9 have the ability to jump past that on-point range at whim if they wanted to. So what's the point in going for a poke-heavy build when you're just going to have very limited time to poke? Why not take a melee-heavy build with the Aftershock and look for burst likeness? And that's what I think Elite 8 are thinking here with Official Hein going for the Aftershock on the Blackfeather.
Two completed items now, one apiece for Cloud9 Elite 8 in their laners. Old School has got that poison shift, the sustain, and the mortal wounds as well. And Hunjagers, more importantly, has his... Oh, that was a nice Johnny Caddy Frenzy jump straight underneath the turret. However, Joseph going extremely low. Turret doesn't quite finish him off. 450 damage, but that flask did save him for the moment.
Didn't need to use the fountain, exactly. That's another 50 seconds where Cloud9 can't find another engage. It might even give Hunjagers a bit of a wake-up call to potentially go for a reflex block, but the way that he is itemized means that he's going to have poor slot inefficiency if he wants to go for a reflex block. Generally, you want to start rushing towards double turrets monocle. He's picked up light shielding early on, which means that realistically, it's going to be unlikely that we see a reflex block coming out too quickly from Jaeger's, which means he's going to be potentially a target for I Love Joseph every time. Often, the sort of the way that you talk about it is level 6. When Koshka's level 6, you need to have a reflex block. But he did manage to get out with the jump jets there, so timed those really well.
Timed extremely well. Joseph, we know as soon as he hits that 6 mark or just beforehand, goes to the lane, gets him a little bit of extra XP, the ambient XP, jump straight him. And that's normally said and done, but a nice time jump jets did save him for the time being. Already you can see infusions coming out from Old School and Joseph. They want to fight early, and in fact the gold miner might be the key here. They got a lot of vision around it. They're actually going to start it up here. Elite 8 knows this happening, however. Yeah,
exactly. This is Cloud9 in a nutshell. Take those infusions. What's a good way to force a fight when you've got an infusion? Force the gold mine, force the crystal sentry, bring the enemy team to you. The only problem is they could be facing a steal from Official Hein, who may look for one of those on point or aftershock steals here.
He's looking for it. Hein just tipping out of the bush. They are going to be able to flare him out for the time being. Ironcomb is down for the execute. Joseph's going to focus it. In fact, they're just going to go straight on the back line, or at least try to wait for it comes through. Joseph's going to be able to secure that gold mine, and Cloud9 just happy with that trade for the time being.
Yeah, Joseph was split between trying to engage here. Official Hein's going to run back in. Old School, no energy right now, but they're going to make the engage.
Straight in. Fish Food did go a little bit wide. Anime saves me in a lot of trouble. Does end up backing off. Heim going fairly low as well, but the Uncanny Frenzy finds the kill. Joseph finds his first one. Old School does find the kill on the Baron. An ace for Cloud9. That is going to be beautifully executed team fight.
How do they do this? How do they just suddenly turn the trigger and find a fight that turns into clean ace at 7 minutes? I feel like that should never have happened. You lose the gold mine, you back off, but now they're going to get the gold mine, a clean ace, and a turret. And Cloud9 once again somehow crush early game every single gosh darn time. It's just so impressive how they pull that trigger so quickly.
They get the 3-piece as well. The ace, the gold mine, and the turret. Like you said, what a perfect rotation from them. You can already see early war threats being picked up from Gabe Vizzle as well. They know their win condition is getting on top of Jaeger's and shutting him down. Hein, in an extended team fight, will be able to do a fair bit of damage with those on points, but Jaeger's, he's the guy that when he scales up late game, he's going to be 2-hitting Old School. He's going to be 2-hitting Joseph. Cloud9, this is why they're the 2-time unified champions. It's because they can execute their win condition and understand the enemy's win condition as well.
Yeah, you said it, you couldn't say it better myself. Movement speed, critical to this C9 composition. That ability to jump through whatever they're being thrown at. Obviously, they're going to get slowed down from Lorelei. They have to negotiate their way around that fish food as well. So it's really important to have that movement speed on board. And now they've also got the Poison Shiv. People don't often realize this, but Poison Shiv does affect barriers. Poison Shiv does it with a mortal wound. It will affect the barrier being placed on a target. So that means that obviously you're starting to reduce Anime Save Me's efficacy as a defensive tool when he has that ultimate available to him. Oh, this is so Cloud9. This is so Cloud9. Every opportunity they take an objective off the map, and it just doesn't look like Elite 8 are in a position to respond.
They got nothing to deal with that at all. They had to rotate to the lane in order to be able to clear that wave out. Meanwhile, Cloud9 now going to start up that gold miner as well. Jaeger's is nowhere to be found. Neither is Anime Save Me, as they just backed off to pick up that Crucible and an infusion, as well as that monocle for Jaeger's now as well. So Cloud9 should be able to finish this, although Hein is just hanging around in that tri-brush. But Cloud9 scored the second gold miner of the game. A nice payout as well, almost about 300 gold apiece.
Yeah, item spike starting to open up as well. You can see Old School got his 2 item spikes.
Goes down. As soon as that happens, they just jump straight on Anime Save Me. He is going to fall. Yami Cannon Frenzy underneath the turret as well. Jaeger's can't get out quick enough. Jump jets away, but jump jets to his grave. Hein is the last member alive. Cloud9 diving underneath 3 turrets, just in the base at this point. Don't seem to care. And to be honest with you, I'm not too surprised. Even Old School's paying Hive a little visit as well. He doesn't really mind
he did
too much. Sonic Zoom over the wall.
There we go. He tried to jump over, missed it, and then got it the second time around. Old School makes a little swag exit out of the base there. This is the problem by itemizing Light Shield over itemizing a reflex block. You don't have that ability to stop I Love Joseph searching you out as a target or seeking you out as a target. And this is the problem with Baron. Baron has one slot that you don't use for offensive items in the early mid game. And that slot, 9 times out of 10, should be reflex block.
It's not there.
It's not.
I don't know what to tell you. It's just not there.
I don't know what to tell you, Excalibur.
It doesn't exist. It's shielding. He wants to stop Joseph's damage, but that's not the problem right now. He needs to be able to block the Unmechanic Frenzy, but that's what Anime Save Me has got.
Oh, Joseph's damage is a problem, but it's obviously, I think both Old School and Joseph's damage are a problem. So if you're getting locked down, Joseph's dealing damage to you regardless, and then you have Old School diving you too. And Gabe Bizzle, I mean, he's still got Dragon Blood contracts. People kind of underestimate that little bit of burst that Dragon Blood contract brings to the table. Gabe is one of the only captains I know, and I think one of the only captains I've seen in this tournament so far, utilize Dragon Blood contract and try and make use of it in the early game. They're going to eliminate the Crystal Sentry at 11 minutes. Cloud9 on a rampage.
Man, that is one of the quickest ones I've seen. In fact, I believe the quickest one we've ever seen is about 8 minutes.
I think it was Fnatic in EU that we saw was a really quick.
Fnatic in EU, about 8 minutes of Crystal Sentry elimination, so only a couple of minutes behind. They're going to take their third gold miner as well. We're at 11.5 minutes on the clock. It's almost a 7,000 gold lead in the favor of Cloud9 right now. Like you said, this is so them. Every single time they spot Elite 8 in the lane, instantly to their jungle, taking the camps, taking the Crystal.
I think we should explain why this kind of playstyle works really well against late game scaling compositions as well. Cloud9 prioritize getting that Crystal Sentry down. That suddenly makes that portion of the map in the jungle less attractive for Elite 8 to safely farm. You can see now, I mean, Official Heim's getting targeted because that Crystal Sentry's gone. Here we go.
Fishery finally lands. Nice. Rose defensive over the wall. Ion Cannon did come down as well.
This area that Cloud9 are in right now usually is a sanctuary for a late game scaling team. They can rely on the defensive bonuses of their Crystal Sentry to at least get their back farm and start building that gold towards their late game builds. C9 take up that Crystal Sentry early, no longer a sanctuary, and they can just do this.
Hive. Half HP goes down, and Water Wall used as well. Elite 8 blow a massive defensive cooldown there, and you can see Cloud9 every single time they see Anime Save Me use that fish food, instantly jump on the back line if it misses somebody, no worries, because they don't have to worry about any other form of CC.
And Gabe actually blocked it too. Gabe blocked it with the Crucible that time round, so that allowed them to continue that threat a bit more. They're going to push this lane up, and again, Cloud9 just searching for opportunities. They have that gold miner that they've consistently taken off the map. That gold miner forces Elite 8 to make a decision between just losing gold for free or trying to contest it or steal it. If they try to contest it or steal it, they play right into Cloud9's territory, which is come and face us where the gold is, which is at that gold miner. And it means that you really delay your late game scaling. Like, you really delay items, and Cloud9 are some of the best players in the world at delaying late game scaling compositions. Just by the way they play, the pure, unfiltered aggression, it just stops anybody that has this late game plan in their tracks.
We know they're very aggressive, but right now they've taken a bit of their foot off the pedal just for the time being, because haven't really found all too much. They sent Heim fairly low. They did force Anime Save Me to actually use that water wall, but that's back up at this current moment in time. They're not pushing on to this tier 2, even though they were more than happy to actually just dive in the base of Elite 8. They are more than kind of content to just take these gold miners. This will be one of the last ones that is actually worth taking right now. We have 14 minutes on the clock now. That's their 4th gold miner in a row. But they need to be able to force stuff because they're just letting Hunyegas farm up, and now he's got double monocle. Yeah,
double monocle has come through, but he's still very vulnerable. Still no reflex block, and ideally he's going to want his 4th item. Interestingly enough, Official Hein has gone for the Aftershock into Dragon's Eye build, which I think is a very strong build in general in a lot of Aftershock junglers. It gives them a bit of longevity in fights, and I think that's what they need. If they can survive fights, especially when you get the Echo on the Lorelei, which is now completed, that longevity could come into play. I think Official Elite 8 have actually weathered a huge storm here, and they've hit some pretty good item spikes that I think genuinely could impact how these fights end up going. Like you said, double monocle on Baron, Dragon's Eye and Echo, all of which are really important to this Elite 8 composition.
They're going to back off once again. If they start that gold miner up, I'll be a little bit confused. But I guess more gold the better. 10 seconds, though, until that Kraken that does end up spawning. Infusions across the board. And now, so I think, really, Anime Save Me is going to be the biggest savior of the team. You could say with that Echo. He's going to be able to Echo Water Wall, even Echo Fish Food if really necessary. 2 big defensive tools in order to actually get the rest of his team out of any situation. That's going to be the catalyst in these fights. They just need Hunyegas to just stay alive. That Kraken is going to get started up by Cloud9, though.
Yeah, and this is where Cloud9 are going to make or break this game. They need Elite 8 to respond. Elite 8 have
Fish
responded.
goes down. Anime Savior goes straight on top of them. Nice reflex block. Straight for that wave bridge. Jump straight on Lorelei though. She ends up going down. Haim ends up falling as well. Ion Cannon did all but nothing. And Jaeger's trying to kite back. Still does a fair bit of work, but can't sustain all of that damage. Not until 3 members of Cloud9 jump on you. Ace for Cloud9, and that should be the Kraken as well.
So that, I think, was a sequence of events that Cloud9 set up to have that intended purpose. You see all that deep vision that they put into the Elite 8 jungle? That was to basically map out Elite 8's movements when they're looking to contest the Kraken. So you saw that Gabe Bizzle just instantly disengaged from Kraken because he had full knowledge of where the Elite 8 roster was. Let's take a look at it again. You see, they're moving up. That was a great block from Gabe Bizzle. He is kind of the block king. And they take out Lorelei. She then has no impact because they don't have the fountain left. They don't have any defensive utilization. And suddenly then it's just chase down the Baron. Pretty easy fight for Cloud9 to watch sweep up. But what was most impressive was how Cloud9 set up for that fight, which was that deep vision. Gabe Bizzle then saw them move up to try and contest. They didn't actually want to take the 50-50 at all, which I think is super wise against a heavy burst composition, especially with the Baron having a very high burst. So I think it was very wise not to take the 50-50 and pull the trigger straight away. No questions asked. Gabe Bizzle jumps straight in.
Now they've got to deal with this Kraken. And Cloud9, they've got all the cooldowns available to them as well. Which is a bad situation for Elite 8. 10,000 gold separates them as well. Joseph goes in, takes a fair chunk out of Haim, however, just focusing on the Kraken at the moment. They haven't got a massive amount of range damage, Scoundrel. Obviously, with the Vox, very low range. They're actually going to dive in, though. Fish Food does end up missing, but Old School is fairly low as well. That Kraken about half HP, but they've broken the base nonetheless.
Yeah, Cloud9 probably going to back off here. I don't know if they're going to be comfortable waiting an entire other rotation for Kraken to come back online. That's a lot of time that you're going to give over this Elite 8 roster. You can see shielding has been sold, and then now you can see Jaegers has finished up the Aegis before his 4th item. Baron with 3 items is fine, but realistically Baron with 4 items is what we consider that true late game powerhouse. Official Hein actually ended up selling, I think it was his shielding, and he's picked up a reflex block alongside the piercing spear, so the piercing shard. So he's going to be looking to have a little bit more impact against this heavy shielding lineup because you've got double Aegis, almost 2 metal jackets, or almost 3 metal jackets completed for C9. So they've all got their defensive items in stock now.
Again, this comes back to knowing, this comes back to Cloud9 knowing the win condition of Elite 8, and that is Jaegers in the late game. They've itemized perfectly for it, all those metal jackets like you were saying, and their ability to easily annihilate Anime Save Me has really been the key to victory as well. No water walls to get you out. It's really just a wonder wall for Cloud9 right now. They're just going to be able to clear up these minions in the lane. Their turret has taken next to no damage as well. I reckon it's probably in the single digits at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. Cloud9, just like we said, have been dominant from the get-go, but this has gone down to an almost 20-minute game. There is a 10k gold advantage for Cloud9. Like, we are talking about how Elite 8 are starting to hit their late-game power spikes, but there's still a 10k gold advantage. That is still a huge amount of teamfight prowess that Cloud9 still has in their favor. They are just playing like they want to rotate around the next Kraken spawn, though. I think they're looking for one decisive play off the next Kraken spawn. I don't know whether Jaegers is going to be able to generate enough income to maintain his infusion and get his 4th item by the next time that Kraken spawns. So that's probably going to be good for Cloud9. That will be their decisive play. They're going to look to end the game off that next Kraken spawn.
Yeah, they're just going to clear up the rest of their own jungle, get as much gold as they possibly can, extend that gold lead. We're reaching the 20-minute mark, though. Been a fair while.
Gabe's gone for Clockwork. Gabe has picked up a Clockwork there. That's an item that you often see as a 5th item on a lot of captains these days. Especially for Gabe, who doesn't really need an Echo. It's kind of like the replacement for an Echo on a non-Echo captain. Just allows him to be a bit more aggressive, can get up his skills a bit more often, and that allows him to single target dive as well, which is obviously really good.
Oh, Anime Saves Me is in a little bit of trouble there. There's the Fish Food. It's going to get blocked, but they all dodge it anyway. It doesn't matter. Ion Cannon's going to come down also, but they're going to jump on Haim. He's going extremely low. The shield is going to help him. Fountain keeps him alive for the time being. Jaegers left completely alone as well. Yamagami Frenzy straight onto Black Feather, but Fountain will just heal Cloud9 up. They're not going to go down anytime soon. They find 1, they find 2, they find 3. Ace for Cloud9, and this very well be the base as well.
Who needs another Kraken when Elite 8 just wander into your territory anyway? That was a massively overconfident push in the lane from Elite 8. They were trying to farm up all the way. They'd been starved of farm for the majority of the game because Cloud9 had boxed them into their own base because of how aggressive they'd been in the jungle. This was textbook Cloud9. I don't even know if you could describe it in another way. This was simply textbook Cloud9.
Both turrets end up falling. Crystal is going to get shattered as well. Cloud9 find game number 1 over Elite 8.